warm, 'cause I need to be swept away, swept away. I'm cornered in the cold where you left me. Left again, left again. Oh, there's a jungle in my head growing wilder, and it's killing me, killing me. I cannot let you go, I cannot let you go, I cannot let you go, I cannot let you go.
On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Kevin Hart's brand new tequila. It's called Gran Coramino, right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Gran Coramino tequila. This is a Reposado Cristalino. And this episode is brought to you by La Bodega liquor store in Riverside, California. It is my go-to place for agave spirits. And if you're looking for good agave spirits, good quality stuff, they've got it, because I actually work with them on curating some of their inventory. So make sure you head down there and ask for Nasser or Mike and tell them that the Hombre sent you, and they'll make sure you get into some of the great tequila and stuff that they stock, because I work with them. So there you go. And they have provided this bottle for review. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, first we got to say hello to some people here. Todd Gilbert, welcome. These are our members. Glad you can make it today. Barney, hello. Glad you could make it. And Marlo, hola. Glad you could make it. And thank you for your membership. I appreciate that. And for those of you that don't know, if you want to comment and ask questions during the live reviews and during the interviews, members are allowed to do that. It's members only. So to become a member, it's really easy. It's only $9.95 a month. And there's a link to join in the description below and the part of the channel. And you get all kinds of other additional perks too, where you get access to some limited tequila purchases, as well as additional information is provided online for you. So membership has its privileges, and we have some really great members. Silas P just showed up. Glad you could make it, Silas P. And then for those of you, and Brooks Connie just showed up. Welcome, Brooks. All right. So for those of you interested, it's easy to join, and we'd love to have you. We have a great community. Everybody welcomes everybody, and I see Marlo just renewed his membership, so welcome back, M. Marlo. And Critical Paintball became a new member today, so we're glad to have Critical Paintball as a member. You guys please welcome them as new members of the Tequila Hombre community here and the family. All right, so with all that said, let's talk a little bit about this tequila. So this is what's called the Cristalino Reposado. Okay, so what they basically do, well, let's get into that later. Let's talk a little bit about the brand. It's owned by a gentleman named Kevin Hart. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Kevin. He is a stand-up comic as well as a actor, and he's very funny. I love Kevin Hart. I've seen all of his movies. I love when he's pairs up with people, especially The Rock, his really good friend. And of course, The Rock had a tequila brand, and so now Kevin does. So Kevin went a different route with it, and he actually teamed up, and where this is made is Casa Cuervo. So he teamed up with Jose Cuervo to make this tequila. Now, supposedly, supposedly Kevin went down to Mexico, learned all about tequila, the culture, the history, production, and now has become somewhat of a tequila guru. Okay, so becoming a tequila guru, he decided that the first expression he's going to come out with is a Reposado Cristalino. So for those of you that don't know what Cristalinos are tequilas where they age them either to Reposado or añejo, and then they carbon filter them to remove the color. Now, carbon filters, you can't tell a carbon filter, I want to filter this and only take out the color, right? So when you do that, it takes out the taste as well. So they do this to give you a clear aged tequila instead of it being a different color of brown, which there's nothing wrong with the brown coloring in aged tequilas. It's perfectly fine for you. I drink brown aged tequilas all the time. No ill effects from it. Perfectly natural. nothing wrong with it at all. So instead, they filter it out like this to give it more of a luxurious look, right? And then sometimes they lose flavors and stuff, and so they will then put flavor back in using artificial flavorings. That's typically what happens. I don't know if they use flavorings on this. We'll find out in the tasting, but they do have a really pretty bottle for it. So, and the retail price for this at the store here was $99. So it's not cheap, and it is, of course, a Reposado. Now, Reposado is a tequila that's been in a barrel for less than a year, but longer than 2 months. So when a tequila has been put in a bottle and aged for that period, it can only be called a Reposado. So let's talk a little about the production of this. They claim that they use brick ornos to cook the agave, and then it is twice distilled using copper pot stills. I'm sure it's roller mill too, because that's the easiest way, and Cuervo does have a roller mill. But they also have a machine called a diffuser. They very seldomly admit that tequilas are diffused, so there's a kind of a taste that you can get, that you can tell if something's diffused. If you're not sure familiar with what a diffuser is, it's a big machine that instead of cooking the agave and then squeezing the sugars out and stuff, they just toss the whole piña in. They don't take out the bittering core that's there. There's a core in the top that adds a bitterness to the tequila. And then this machine extracts 99% of everything out of those agave fibers. So it basically comes out, instead of looking like light brown like a normal agave fiber will, it comes out looking kind of a sick gray. And then they take this juice in there, and I'm not sure if Cuervo uses, I think they use water, so they boil it at in big autoclaves that they set up vertically. They boil it to convert the sugars, or the starches, to sugars. I'm not sure. I don't think they use acid for Cuervo. I think they do use boiling on it. I'll have to double check. But it's just never really produces a good quality spirit. It produces stuff that normally tastes nasty, and so they normally will add additives to it to make it taste better, make it more palatable. And they even have a artificial agave flavoring that they can add to things too, to add the agave flavoring. All right. So now that you know that, this Reposado is then carbon filtered and then placed in the bottle, this beautiful bottle, which I'm sure my wife will turn this into a nice vase after we're done with this review. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tasting portion and see what this thing is all about. All right, so we'll pour a little bit in a glass. Now, I'm not a big fan of Cristalinos in general, just because it's like, well, if a tequila is fine, as a Reposado is good, why do you need to filter it, right? So one of the things that people will tell you is that, well, it makes it smoother. Okay, so if the production was done right, it doesn't need to be smoother in the first place. If you make a tequila right and do it the right way, like the way they've been doing it for generations, it's really easy to drink. Doesn't need to be smoothed out. Also, it's because they want this luxurious look, and people think, hey, I'm bringing a Cristalino, it's luxurious. It really isn't. It's just a Reposado that's had the color taken out. So it's more of a marketing gimmick than anything. So I'm normally not a big fan, although I did have to eat my words on that when I did try the El Tequilano Cristalino. It's actually quite good. I enjoyed it. And as well as another Cristalino from Casa San Matias. They don't use additives in that one either. And it actually has pretty good flavor, but they just lightly filtered it. This one, there's no hue to it. So we'll look at it. Looking at it in the glass, it coats the glass nicely. There's legs and tears coming down the glass. So it's going to have a nice oily, viscous mouthfeel to it. Looking at the tequila itself, it is crystal clear. No color to it at all. Little sparkles of silver in there. It looks great. It looks like a Blanco, but it's not a Blanco. It's not a Blanco, it's a Cristalino. So, all right, so let's see what we get on the nose on this. I get a little bit of vanilla coming through. That's it. I just get a little bit of vanilla and maybe hints of caramel in there. I'm not picking up really any agave, but it's more of just vanilla and caramel coming through. That's all I'm getting. So, not a whole lot to it, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be a sign that they did use additives to enhance it. All right, well, let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Nice, viscous, oily mouthfeel. Really easy to drink. There's a little heat to it. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'll take another sip as soon as this heat kind of settles a little bit and see if I get that heat back. All right. I always say give it to the second sip because your mouth and all your lips and everything have to get used to 40% alcohol being placed in your mouth. So we'll see how we fare on this sip. Still has some heat to it. Pretty bland. Not a whole lot of flavor to it. A little bit of vanilla coming through on it. And then there's a little bitterness in there. And then just the residual heat that kind of goes down your throat with it. So it's not bad. It tastes good. It's really easy to drink. But it just doesn't taste like a good reposado should. It's just, there's not a lot of complexity. It's very basic. It tastes like if you were to take vodka and just put a little bit of a vanilla in it type of thing. But it's not bad. So if you're somebody that doesn't like the taste of tequila, but likes Kevin Hart and wants to buy an alcohol, then this would be a good purchase. If you're somebody that really wants to drink tequila because it tastes like tequila and is a good tequila and has agave presence and stuff, this is not going to be a good choice for you. It's not bad though. I mean, I don't think it doesn't really have like a lot of flavor, so I don't think it's really enhanced a lot with additives. I think it's just really bland, quite honestly. But there is vanilla to it. I am picking up a little bit of caramel now on the tongue afterwards. So it's just not good. It's not a good quality tequila. I think it's not something that I would buy and keep on my shelf. And I wouldn't recommend anybody else buy, especially for $99. There's other tequilas out there that have a lot more flavor, a lot more complexity to it, and taste a lot better for a lot less. And yeah, so they'll be a little brown or light brown or straw color to it, but they actually are easier drinking. The heat from this is still coursing down my chest. I can feel it, entering my stomach now. There is this heat, so it's not good. So how would I rate this? I would rate this. I'd give it 2 agave because it's not horrible, but it's just not reflective of what a good reposado tequila should taste like. It is. It's like a flavored vodka. I mean, honestly. So that's it. It's a big pass on Kevin Hart's tequila. If you want a good tequila, buy, a nice reposado. You can get one for a lot less. Some ones I recommend, they're really good right now. I'm really liking a lot. Juan Lobo is a really good reposado that I'm really enjoying. It's not super complex in the flavor profile, but very easy to drink, and it's all natural. A luchador reposado is one I've been drinking a lot of lately too. Very nice flavor profile to it. It's just really satisfying, and it doesn't have this burn that this one does right now that I'm experiencing. So I recommend those over this one, and you'll pay less money for it. Yeah, the bottle's not as super fancy, but hopefully you're buying tequila for the drink and not for the bottle. All right, so there you go. There's my review. It's a 2 agave for me. Let's check in with our members and see if we have any questions and stuff that are coming in about this brand and or any comments. Hey, and Marlo, you're welcome. Thank you. So it's not something that I would recommend buying and putting on your shelf. It's just, I mean, maybe the burn would go away if you put it on ice and or chilled it, but why do that? I mean, the whole idea of buying a good tequila is getting all the good flavors from it, and this missed it. This is like taking a bourbon, filtering all the color out of it, turning it into like a grain vodka, right? And then leaving just a little bit of vanilla and caramel flavor in it and saying that it's bourbon. It's not reflective of what this should be. So that's it. You're welcome. I'm glad that you guys liked it. And any other comments or questions on this before we call it a night? I will be doing an Instagram live stream tonight, so you guys can join me. And I will be drinking. I think I'm going to drink a Cristalino, but I'm going to drink a good one on the live stream. So you guys can join me on Instagram live for live stream shortly after this video concludes. So any other comments or questions from anybody before we call it a night? Nope. Okay. Well, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila, so leave Gran Coramino on the shelf. Salud. Bye, guys. See you, what's today? Wednesday? See you Saturday for Nighttime with the Hombre. Bye.